let's talk to one of our favorite people to talk baseball with. He's a great guy, musical mind, covers baseball for The Athletic with the Wind Up newsletter. His name is Levi Weaver. What's happening, my man?
Levi.
Oh man, we are having a big night here, watching a nature documentary. So no baseball on.
Is it one of the ones that's narrated by David Attenborough?
Oh, you know it. We're not doing any second-rate nature documentaries over.
Okay, so with that being the case, I want you to get into the mental space of David Attenborough, and if you could even get to the voice to it, I would not be too mad. You've covered a lot of opening days in Arlington, whether it's Globe Life Field or Globe Life Park, and give me what was the distinction? What was the difference in feel for this one in particular as the Rangers come in the World Series champion?
Never before has a banner like this been hung from the rafters of Globe Life Field. I can't do it.
That was solid, man. That was pretty good.
Nice.
No, it was different. It was full. I mean, opening day is always full, right? But this was just, the energy was there. I didn't know if it would feel a little bit like, World Series hangover. Like, boy, we did it, and now we got to start all over again. So let's, yay baseball. It was not that at all. It was just it was so loud from beginning to end. And then the teams gave us, an amazing game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Even the mistake made by the umpire, I think because the Rangers came back and won, it was okay. Certainly added to the drama. For those that don't know, there was a foul tip that was called a wild pitch, and then Jonah Heim later admitted he should have finished the play, but instead he argued with the umpire, so the runner on second just kept going and tied the scoring run. He scored the go-ahead run, and then Travis Jankowski in the ninth hits a tying home run, and then in the 10th, Jonah Heim, the one that made the mistake in the first place, the other one that made the mistake, the umpire was the first one, hits the walk-off, and the Rangers are undefeated, probably going to go 162-0 this year, I think.
That's what everybody's betting, hoping. Levi, that was a great summation of the game. It was a continuation of the playoffs, it seemed. It's like you had that same kind of energy. And, again, you mentioned the drama. Were you amongst the reporters that got a chance to talk to that referee after the game or that umpire?
No. So the way that they usually do that is they'll send in one reporter.
And what was the word? Because I heard he said he saw the video.
Yeah. So Sean McFarland of the Dallas Morning News got to go down and ask him the questions. And basically, what did you see? And he goes, I called it a swinging strike. Like, okay, well, we knew that. Have you gotten a chance to see the video? And he just goes, yeah. And I'm paraphrasing slightly, but not much. And then, what did you think? And he goes, I'm not going to talk about any video. If you have any questions about the call in the field, I'm happy to talk about that. So they basically just we knew everything that he said, except for that he'd seen the video, which we sort of assumed. Just a complete lack of accountability. And it really, I don't know, maybe we're getting into Levi therapy time, but if you are in a position of authority, it is okay to admit that you messed up, and people will respect you more if you just go, look, it was really loud in there.
Right.
It was so loud. I couldn't hear the foul tip. I can't see it from my position, so I thought it was a swinging strike. I kicked the call. I messed it up. Fortunately, things evened out, and it all worked out. That's all you have to say, and everybody kind of goes, yeah, all right, fair enough,
Mm-hmm.
But we saw that when Jim Joyce messed up Galarraga's perfect game. He was in tears going, I kicked the bleep out of that call. And everybody kind of felt bad for him. Like, okay, he cares. He cares that he got it right. And Chad Fairchild was just like, yeah, I saw the video. I'm not going to talk about it. Okay, man. That's awfully fragile of you, but whatever.
At the risk of being the jerk in this situation, I do want to consider this because, accountability is something that comes up when it comes to referees in basketball. They actually instituted their last 2-minute reports where when something gets messed up, They show up and they're like, hey, this is the thing that went wrong, from the league office. And I do wonder how much does that actually act as accountability, or how much does that then become annoying, knowing that they made something wrong, they're willing to tell you about it, but it's still not going to change anything?
I like that the league will admit it. I think I would rather hear it from the umpires and referees themselves, because players have to do that, right? If a closer blows a save, we're in there, microphone shoved in his face, hey, why'd you mess up? I hate asking those questions, but But fans want to know, like, what did you try there? What went wrong? And if we're going to brag about the human element and we're not introducing robot umpires, the human element, well then be human. Like admit when you got something wrong. That's and umpires have talked to umpires in the past, and they have a system. They get graded. They get their reports on how accurate they were after the game. So it exists. They just don't have to talk about it. And sometimes when there's a controversial play, we'll get the one pool reporter and we'll get an umpire going, yeah, I watched it. What of it? So I don't know. It's dumb.
Hey, Levi, we were talking about this last night, late after the game, the post-game show, and we were talking about it to start this show off, about the different highlights and lowlights of the game. The game had a little bit of everything. What was your favorite moment of the game? I'm not asking about the turning point of the game or the thing that just turned the game around. I just want to know your personal favorite moment of the game.
There were three. So one was Adolis Garcia hitting his first home run and the very cool bat flip, bat drop. That was neat. I love that. I'm a big fan of bat flips. Two was we saw, Wyatt Langford made his debut, got his first RBI on a sac fly. Later, Leg got an infield single for his first hit. But I thought it was cool, and Bruce Bochy and Wyatt Langford both seemed to shrug it off later. But later in the game, there was a 3-0 count, runner base, and they intentionally walked him. It's his first big league game.
Yeah.
They intentionally walked him. And the situation called for it. I get it. He's a dangerous hitter, even though it's his first big league game. But he's only the second player in franchise history. The last one, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. It was in 1965 before they were even the Rangers.
Yeah,
Good
Washington.
To be intentionally walked in his big league debut. It's only happened 50 times in big league history. And then the last one was when David Robertson, right? The bullpen's been shaky last year. They get a couple of new guys in Robertson and Yates. Robertson comes in. He's in trouble. He's got, I think the bases were loaded, and he gets out of it. And it was just a cool moment to see, okay, the bullpen has, it's one game of 162. It's not even 1%, but there's some moxie there. Getting out of a little jam in a tight game, that was pretty cool to see.
Now, we're talking to Levi Weaver. He is the author of the Wind-Up newsletter at The Athletic. And, of course, prior to being the author of that newsletter, longtime Rangers beat writer and just general good guy. I wanted to talk to you largely because of a fantastic piece that was written in The Ringer about the universal DH and how the idea of really great transcendent DHs are actually more rare than we think about, and that brought into that, in my mind, the thought of Wyatt Langford, who it seems like is going to get a lot of time as a DH. He's not going to be universal in that same way, but he's going to be relatively close. How impressed are you early on with him, and what do you feel like this season can be with him? Because obviously there is a difficulty with being a DH primarily and not necessarily having that time playing defense when you are not up to bat. What does it feels like it's a reasonable expectation for him right now when it feels like expectations continue to balloon?
Yeah, I think we'll see. There have been guys who really thrived in that role, and then there have been guys who are I don't like it. I feel like I'm less connected to the game. So we'll see how it is. He's a young kid, so he's going to have more energy. You kind of tend to think he's going to want to play the field some more, but I think that's a time will tell situation. But man, from a what is he capable of standpoint, who knows, right? He was in college a year ago, and he's just mashed at every level he's been at. Led all of baseball in runs batted in spring training. So it seems like the sky's the limit there. People keep comparing him to Mike Trout. I think it's just because he looks like him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think how many players have been at my level? Not that many. But I really don't feel like I can predict. I think it really depends on how he does from a mindset level, playing DH and also doing that his first year in the big leagues, right? It's not like he can rest back on his laurels and go, I've done this for 7 years. I know how to take a big league at bat. He's brand new. So we'll see. If he thrives in that role and is able to even, play outfield once in a while to give Evan Carter a rest or whatever, man, I think the Rangers got a really good one in the draft. And I think he's going to be seems like he's going to be a really great hitter.
What would be your expectation for this team? Fans have an expectation. National reports say, well, they're not even going to win their division. It's hard to repeat World Series, so you can't necessarily assume that. But what is your expectation of what you think this team might do?
I think they're a playoff team. I think they're going to have to really just grit it out in the first half, though, because Jacob deGrom's not going to be back until the second half. Max Scherzer might be back earlier than we expected, so that'd be a big help. Tyler Mahle, the new guy that they signed, he won't be back until the second half. So right now, and no disrespect to Andrew Heaney or Cody Bradford, but I mean, even John Gray was in the bullpen during the playoffs, and that rotation is not. Just looking around the league, there are some great rotations in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to benefit the Rangers, the Astros are also banged up. Their rotation is all hurt. Their core of offensive players are starting to age out a little bit. They're not old yet, but they're getting there. The Mariners didn't do just a whole heck of a lot as far as, I mean, they did a lot this offseason, but did they actually upgrade? Did they improve? I don't know. Maybe a little, but they're going to be good. So it's not like the Rangers are stuck in one of those divisions where every team is just, a banger. If they were in the NL West, they'd be in trouble. But, I think they got a shot. I think they got a shot at the division. And then let's see what DeGrom and Scherzer have left in the tank when they get back. If they're anywhere close to who they have been even 2, 3, 4 years ago, then, yeah, it's a real dangerous team in October. It's all going to depend on, I think, the health of those guys when they get back. And then what I will say is the offense, that lineup looks like it's good enough to be, it can hang with anybody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, is that offense where your chief overreaction happens during that game? Because I'm really interested in that. Typically, it's not something that's going to be said over air, but I'm going to draw it out of you here, Levi. If there was one overreaction that you wanted to actually let fly and let people know, what was the one that you thought of?
Oh, Travis Jankowski is going to hit 162 home runs this year.
One for each game. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was only his 11th home run in the big leagues. That's crazy. Actual overreaction is that hey, this team's great, right? They're going to go and win it all again because they looked like a team. They overcame some adversity. Nathan Eovaldi wasn't sharp, but he was good enough, kind of like that last game in the World Series. So they looked like they had that same magic as last year's playoff team. But when you objectively look at the rotation and you go, can this bullpen be significantly better than last year? I don't think they're going to win 100 games and just breeze through to another World Series win. But man, they really did look good last night, and that's a great way to start a season when you're defending a championship.
It was working day for you out at Globe Life Field, so this one might be unfair. Feel free to plead the fifth if you need to. Favorite non-Rangers Cubs opening day moment for Levi Weaver was?
There were some good ones because I did have to go through for the newsletter and actually write about this. I got a few. Corbin Burns looked really good with the Orioles.
The Orioles' agenda is strong already.
Yeah, they look really good. The Diamondbacks scoring 14 runs in, I think it was the third inning of their game. It was against the Rockies, so probably only counts for 7, but it was still a really good inning. Juan Soto making that throw to get Mauricio Dubon at the plate.
Downright Adolis-like.
Yeah, it was good, and it was a very close play. And I've seen a lot of replays. I'm still not 100% sure that he was out, but it was counted out. So good play for him in his Yankees debut. Sorry, Rangers fans, for saying nice things about the Yankees and the Diamondbacks.
That game didn't really put you in a good place to say nice things that people would appreciate here when you talk about Yankees Astros.
Yeah. You're right. Hey, the Astros lost, so Rangers fans.
There it is. That's the recovery.
Take some solace there. You only root for the Yankees when they're playing the Astros, right?
That's right.
I think those 3 were probably my big 3 favorites.
Fair enough. I mean, in a great day of baseball, obviously you got sat at probably the best one in my very biased opinion. Levi Weaver writes the wind-up newsletter. You want to read it for The Athletic. Levi, we always appreciate you being generous with your time. You enjoy yourself a great weekend, my man.
Always happy to do it. We'll talk to you soon.